Webster's Way car park. We haven't got any closed sessions, have we? So I don't need to be. Right, there we are then, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, all members, please switch your phone to silent.
Excellent. We're not like that, isn't it? That's why you're not as the phone.
I've just assured you.
Loud with your own voice.
Looking up for it. Good evening, members. So, we're now starting the meeting. Thank you. So, our agenda. Apologies for absence.
We've had apologies from Councillor Lambourne, Councillor Linden, Councillor Page, Councillor Milne, Councillor both the Nails, Councillor Callis and Councillor Sutton.
Thank you very much, Scott. Declaration of members' interests. Receive declarations of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest in this meeting. Are there any to be documented?
Yeah.
Councillor Ward.
District Council.
Just anything other than usual.
District Council. Thank you. Minutes of the previous meeting. To approve the minutes of the annual meeting held on the 11th of May. So accurate record. Are we agreed? Great.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. The deferred motions from the annual council meeting. 4.1. Feedback from councillors to note the feedback received from councillors on committee structure proposal presented by the officers. We will read those into the note, please. Councillor.
Yeah, I just wanted to, on that, I did actually feed back to you, Chairman, as I believe other members did on that item. Because, I think that there was a lot of, questions asked. So we put them over to you, so you tentatively put a response in. Did you?
I kept the response for those that I've spoken to and those that have contacted me otherwise.
Thank you.
Just to be clear then, that wasn't what your response back to the office and the motion had been that the responses came back to office. So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's noted, thank you.
Excuse me, Chair. Thank you. Yeah, just on this topic before we move on, I've only seen 5 responses go through you, Chair, to the clerk. Was it just 5 responses or was there other responses that weren't generally circulated?
No, it was only 5 responses received by the office. Obviously, I understand some members sent it to the chairman, but the request was that it came back to the office, not to the chairman.
So 5 out of 23.
Yep.
Thank you.
So can I comment? I think what James is referring to is that a few of us spoke to you because all we keep hearing from the office is how busy they are. So we tried to send stuff into you so that you could speak to them behind.
The email was very clear about we wanted to come back to the office and not to council.
Okay, well, okay. If you can reply to some emails and not others, then I find that quite strange. But okay. So,
Next one. So 4.2 committee structure for 26-27 to consider a committee structure for the 26-27 council year. I should like to make an amendment to that if possible, please. I believe that we have. Sorry. Councillor Leary, if you did want to.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to speak on this. I think we need to amend what's been proposed. I think we need to look at the fact that there's no finance committee. I'm completely opposed to that not being there. So I'm going to propose that we add a strategy and finance committee. I think in terms of the other committees, I can get along with that. Planning, environmental services, community, staffing. Yeah, that's fine. We've already agreed the KDV management committee will continue as is at the trust meeting. In terms of yeah, so in terms of 4.2, I think, yeah, we absolutely need a strategy and finance committee or a policy and finance committee or whatever you want to call it. And I would like to propose that as an amendment. And we'll look for a second.
I'm
happy to second.
I've got to say that Councillor Leary is completely wrong. I think he's overcomplicating things. As he described it, the strategy and finance committee is just not necessary because there's a serious safeguard built into the processes of the committees. It effectively takes over the same purposes, same actions, same responsibilities. If you put a further committee in there, strategy and finance, which is probably the way that the traditional one has been done, you're delaying things, you're adding more possible variance into it, and getting more people's opinions involved. It's going to slow down the ability to be able to do anything. So I think what the officers have proposed here is exactly the right way to go. Otherwise, we're risking just not moving them at all.
Anything else for this? Was somebody else raising their hand? No?
Yeah, if I make this button, because it was addressed to me personally. What town council or parish council doesn't have a finance committee? And I know that there may be some that don't, but I think it's incredibly important that we do, given the size of this council and the infrequency with which we are proposing to meet as a full council. I think it's absolutely vital that we do have that. And I absolutely propose that we do that, and I hope that members get the time.
That's the same reason.
Thank you, Chair. I think this really is a question of whether or not the committee is able to make a decision and whether or not that decision can be upheld by policy and finance in the way that they hold or have a jurisdiction over the full amount that the council has actually got in the bank. Because it's better to have somebody else to scrutinise what you are proposing than it is if you make the mistake, the money can't be brought back. And I think with scrutiny, you have this second degree of looking at the proposal, how much it costs and whether it is the right proposal in front of the council. It is for the full council, having got from policy and finance scrutiny, it is then for the full council to accommodate whatever the cost will be and to take that programme forward. But I do think that a secondary degree, looking at it from a different angle, from a different committee, will help in getting the right judgment. Thank you.
I did, only to say, could we know who our guests are, please? I see this lady's busy writing me, I don't know who she is.
Yeah, so this is Lisa, who is here to provide meeting support, high experience parish clerk and experience of governance in England since before I was even born. So yeah, just come support the meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, just in what capacity are you here to support? Sorry, I'm not quite clear on that.
Support the council.
Okay, but and where are you from and who instructed you to be here is my question.
I did,
Okay. And does the clerk have the right to do that?
yes.
Okay,
And I'm from
Yes.
Meckham Parish Council,
from where, sorry?
Meckham Parish Council.
Which is where the clerk used to work, I believe. And
Yes,
this was-
but prior
Okay.
to that, I
Okay,
was
thank
at
you.
Corporation of London and Kent County Council.
Okay.
Two points, if I may, Chairman. Why do you feel that you need somebody to come along and support you? That's question one. Question two, can I refresh members about us trying to set a budget this year? Which was a complete fiasco, was deferred on at least 2 occasions because nobody had done their homework. We sat here on 2 occasions, not knowing what we were being asked to approve. We had another issue, and going back to last year, where we were forced, and we go back to the infamous Christmas lights that nobody had ever bothered to look at. And there we are being forced to agree £10,000 that evening. Otherwise, there was a good chance a Christmas lights event would not happen. We need a complete policy that looks at the strategy and the finance. And it didn't happen, and it should have happened. And we were very lucky that we have actually got away to a degree. I don't think we've done everything that we should do. I think a lot of our budgets are not where they should be. We've got figures, but I mean, I've been talking to Councillor Stanley about one particular issue tonight. Who's approved it? There's things being approved, expenditure being approved, that none of us know anything about. And this is not right. And we need a committee, a finance committee or a structure, somebody to overview some of these decisions that are being made. Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, Councillor Wilson. I missed you that time, sorry.
It's okay, Chair, thank you. I'd just like to say before I speak to the amendment, if I may, to welcome our visitor this evening. Thank you for coming up all this way in this weather to come and spend a lovely evening at the office. Okay, so getting back to speak to the amendment, just so I'm clear. So a committee will make a decision about its budget and the individual items that it needs. That will then go to the finance group for approval. Then does that go to full council for approval? So which bit, are we adding an extra layer, or are we just shifting where the approvals come from? I'm unclear. That's the only reason I'm asking.
So if you looked at the proposed amended committee structure in the sheet, I don't know if you've
Has everyone got this document?
No,
I haven't got it, no. I've not
So then it
seen
can't be considered tonight, unfortunately.
of course,
Yeah.
we're bringing an amendment.
So,
We're bringing an
members, if I
amendment.
can just continue with what I was saying, the strategy and finance committee that's been proposed, it says the core responsibilities would have oversight on the budget, the precept, financial controls, accounts, audit, risk governance, ICT, document management, strategic planning and LGR. Just like any other committee, it will discuss the issues and anything that needs a big decision made on it will be referred to full council.
Absolutely. Correct.
Okay, so
I hope that answers.
if I can just seek clarification, please. So that committee will deal with those topics. So as we stand at the moment, a environmental committee will have its own budget, which has been approved. So as the year goes on, if something needs amending or an additional spend, at the moment that's going to full council for request and approval. So if this amendment comes in, will that then go to finance and policy? Who will make the final approval, or will it go to finance and policy and then full council to make the final approval? That's the bit finance haven't got straight.
Correct me if I'm wrong on the structure. My understanding is with all committees, they have a set budget and each committee can't spend above that budget. So anything that requires anything above that budget would have to go to full council anyway. My understanding is the strategy and finance committee would operate in the same manner as any other committee, putting forward suggestions, looking at the policies, looking at the documents, so that when it comes to the end of year and the new year, and we have to make all these decisions and get things put into full council and to the clerk, that there will already be things in place for us to discuss rather than we're starting from scratch at every meeting.
Okay, so that I'm clear, each committee will have its own financial agreement that it sticks to. If it needs any more, it goes to full committee. It goes to full council, and then the finance new committee that comes in with this amendment just does its own thing, yeah? Is that right?
That's Johnson for this.
Oh, was it me? Yes. Oh, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, so I'm fully supportive of the amendment that's been put forward, and I think that we need to get back to a place where, we are actually looking at these other than in full council, because as we've well seen in the past weeks and months, that we're getting to full council and everything's just being deferred. And we should be looking at these in committee, as Councillor Sperry has previously said, before they get to full council, where we can have those conversations amongst members, and then they go back to full council for a final approval if it's outside of the committee's delegations on budget. Thanks.
Thank you, councillor Ian.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding has always been, it's actually looking at the budgets that are required and actually getting those figures into full council for approval. It's basically looking at everything and making sure it actually all works and actually works with the income. So it's an overbody that looks at the income, looks at what the outgoings are, and you have all the stuff, the throughput from all the various committees into the Policy and Finance Committee. So basically, whichever committee requires a certain amount of budget for that coming year will input that budget requirement into the Policy and Finance. And so it's just sat down and I worked through it completely and absolutely in a sensible way. And then that is there for everybody to see and understand what you've got to spend or not, as the case may be. And if there's a case that you need extra on your budget, you just need to make an application for more and the reasons why. That's it. It's common sense.
Councillor Byrne, please.
So I wanted to check my understanding that this will be a new committee dealing with things that the other committees don't necessarily deal with, and none of the other committees report to policy, strategy and finance. All the committees report to full council. Is that correct?
I think we're overcomplicating this. Policy and finance, in my opinion, for the last couple of years, hasn't done its job properly.
No.
Right, let's just keep it simple, bring it back and just do that properly, right? So, and I think Councillor Ward summed it up perfectly about how it should be managed and how it goes ahead.
Please.
As it's just been described, we're just introducing another layer of management. The committees have a budget, they can decide how to spend that budget, and they should use it well, just be honest. If they need more money than that, then of course it comes back to the main council. It does need to go through another committee where it's all the same stuff as it has. Yes, therefore, I think being done properly, the same result will be had. The money should be asked for. And I think what we're doing, we are, as Councillor Leary says, we are actually overcomplicating things, and I also would like to add that since we haven't had more than 5 days notice, we can't discuss it anyway.
No, it's an amendment.
It's not an amendment, it's a fundamental change.
It's an amendment.
So my advice is
we are
probably
amending
this
the
cannot be,
structure. We're
this cannot be
amending the-
considered. My advice as proper is this cannot be considered tonight. This document has not been circulated to all
This isn't a document that needs to be circulated. This is an amendment that we're bringing
The
forward.
amendment would only apply to the existing officer proposals.
Yeah, we are
other
amending,
stuff
we're
which
amending
is
it
not-
by adding an extra committee to your proposal.
That should be.
Yeah, that should be.
Councillor Spooner.
Thank you. Well, I never got an answer to my question about why you this report. Number 2, the title is Strategy and Finance. Now, if all the councils disappear, as we are being told they do, who is going to look at the strategy for this council? Who is going to look at the impact of how it implodes on environment, how it implodes on planning? This is where we need a strategy committee to somebody that's away from all these doing the day-to-day operations to look at the implications that it's going to have on this council. Strategy, that's it, quite simple. We need a body that will be looking at this independent of the day-to-day operations of the other committees. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor. If I may speak at the moment, try, it's just my hand, please. I did send to the office, I suggested that we do have a policy finance strategy, whatever you want to call it. That was on my recommendation that I did send to the office. I put it out to the other members that actually spoke to him. and I did take advice. I'm sorry. I have looked at, there is no other parish and town council in Rochford that do not have a policy and finance for some such committee. And I've been led to believe that it's an important committee that we have, which will then save full council quite a lot of time. Especially as it was proposed that we wouldn't have them until quarterly, it would be an awful lot of work. But we do have another member in the public, but I believe I can ask just for some opinion, please, some advice. And it is the lady from EELC that I have been speaking to make sure that I had things right, because obviously I'm quite new to this place. So this is Michelle. So if I could just ask Michelle her advice on that matter of the.
On having we would always recommend a finance and strategy meeting committee, especially if you are going to have your meetings quarterly. So I actually clerk full time as well at Danbury Parish Council. So we've got a precept of about £500,000 nearly, but we have a turnover of nearly £1 million because we've got buildings, etc. So we've got quite a big budget. I think fully similar to the size you've got. My finance committee meet monthly. My council only meet every other month. That means that if committees need extra money because things come up. So, for example, our bowling club very recently came to a request to the Environment and Facilities Committee, who are delegated authority, part of them, needing an extra £5,000 for some groundworks that needed to be done. Well, they don't have that in their budget, but my finance committee have delegated responsibility to be able to authorise expenditure up to £7,500. And they meet monthly, which meant we could get the meeting, we could have that, it will get dealt with very quickly. Otherwise, we'd have ended up either having to leave it for 2 months because we'd have just had a full council meeting, or call in an extraordinary council meeting. So for my view, and the councils that I deal with and I speak to, we all very strongly support having some sort of finance and strategy meeting. Also, it does save you time at full council because you've had somebody else go through all your policies. So when we do our policy, we do all my policies, go through we call it resources, goes to my resources committee. It then goes to full council and it's already gone through 7 or 8 councillors who have had the opportunity to scrutinise the policies in detail. Because a bit like you probably, our council meetings will go on for 2 hours, just going through normal business, let alone asking them to review half a dozen policies at a time. So we do find that better. And in my opinion, sorry, just to comment, I do think you can agree an amendment to that tonight because your agenda items to consider a committee structure.
Yeah,
So
an amendment to the proposals, but this document is not.
Well,
It's not council. It's nothing to do with it. With the greatest respect, that document has not been seen by all councillors.
Does it?
But the proposal is just to add another committee to the layers that you've already got, so I'm not sure why that would be.
That's your view. That's your view.
Yeah, but that's to do with this council.
So I was saying, as I said it, that I wanted to put an amendment to that. And the amendment will be, in my opinion, that we're going to have strategy and finance added to what was originally noted on the 4 Peters. That's where I'm looking at the amendment. You did have Councillor Newport wish to speak, he still does.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so, no, my question to you, Chair, was as the decision is final with you as to how we interpret standing to receive and take as an amendment.
I am.
Thank you. Right. So can we move to the vote, Chair?
Have you had a second?
I second it.
Can I speak?
Could have lost my reason.
Thank you very much indeed. I think it's very, very important that on the strategy committee, strategy and policy committee, whichever one you're going to call it, the chairman of every single committee has to be on that committee. I think that's going to be a really important point because they can feed in anything that they feel is pertinent within their own sphere that they are responsible for. So they have to be on that committee in one way or another.
Thank you. Can we go to the vote now, please?
So through the chair, then the amendment is proposed that we add a strategy and finance committee to the committee structure. Councillor O'Leary proposed it and Councillor Rose seconded it. All those in favour? All those against? Any abstentions?
There's not voting.
We choose not to vote.
Choose not to vote, Chair, because I choose to take the clerk's advice. Thank you. I've not seen the page.
We can't vote.
So that amendment is, carried.
Just to point out, you've agreed with me in principle to create this committee, but we do still need to set terms of reference.
Yeah.
So you have to decide whether you're doing it now or you'll do it later.
Well, we get to that.
Yeah, councillor.
Yeah, so in terms of the term of reference then, I'm going to propose that each committee is to determine its terms of reference at its first meeting, using the town's clerk's recommended terms of reference as a base document, but not as the ruling document. The KGV TOR remains unchanged, and I would seriously suggest the Personnel Committee looks at the terms of reference. That are being brought forward on that, because they seem totally inappropriate to me. Thank you.
I second that. I second.
What was it? You
Councillor O'Leary's proposal.
Propose that terms of reference. It's a base document of the town clerk's base document, each and every meeting, and at the first meeting, they set the terms of reference.
First
So all councils might set a new term.
No, first meeting.
Should be done, yeah. So full council needs to set what powers it delegates into its committees. You could draft the terms of reference at a committee meeting, but then it can't.
And then they go back to full
do it
council.
through by
Yeah.
the council.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I ask Michelle to speak.
Yeah, I agree. What should happen is the committee would set or suggest what they think their terms of reference should be, and then they go to full council
Obviously, in the
ratify.
meantime, it's not going to have any powers to take.
No,
any-
it can't have any powers until
Yeah.
we need an extraordinary council meeting, I suggest, to agree the terms of reference.
Yeah. Another one.
And I'd probably do that as soon as, I know it's a pain, but I said you'd probably do that sooner rather than later, because at the moment your committees can't meet with any powers to do anything.
So through the chair, if there's no members wishing to speak on that, proposal, can we take it to the vote, please? So all those in favour? Okay. All those against? And those not voting? You're not voting?
I choose to abstain.
Abstain, I'm abstaining today. Okay, so that is carried.
Committee membership. Yes, committee membership, sorry. To agree committee membership.
Sorry,
No.
sorry, just to clarify, 4.3, you've voted on the amendment to add the strategy and finance committee,
Yeah.
and you've done about the terms of reference.
Yeah.
But you've not agreed in principle to create those other committees, like the environmental services, you need to just agree in principle.
We've added to the committee.
Yeah, so you added one,
That's just the
that's
amendment.
just the amendment, but then you need to vote for the overall motion,
Yeah.
that you're creating these committees in principle, and the terms of reference will be worked on.
Yeah.
Because those two are amendments, so they're overall motion.
So
Does that make sense?
So, I will propose then that we take the others as we recommended with the planning, environmental services, strategy, finance and communities and staffing.
Yeah.
So, as we're originally, take a vote on that, please.
All those in favour?
Chair, can I just ask a clarification? Are we talking about committees or committee membership?
Committee.
Just the committee.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, so the committee membership for 26-27 to agree the committee to agree the committee membership for the 26-27 municipal year. That's the ward.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. As I mentioned before, this is a special committee, so I believe it's integral that the chairman, chair people, whatever you want to call them, of every single committee needs to be on or part of this particular committee so that they can feed in, especially if we're looking at strategy, especially if we're looking at going forward, everything that they need to do and what they're responsible for. So I would expect that to be part of the committee remit.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion. I'll put that
I'll
as a
second
motion.
that. I'll second that motion.
That's
That's not what we need.
that's not really what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
Chairman, if I may, I think that the recommendations were for a limited number on each committee. I think from where this council has been and where we want to go, if we have councillors that want to be involved in a committee, they should have the opportunity to attend. I know they can and they don't have voting rights, but we had very limited numbers, which in all honesty, having seen how many people haven't turned up tonight, could mean that some of these committees turn up and they're not quorum. So I would suggest that we increase the number of people that are allowed to attend these meetings and have a vote be increased. I mean, I don't know, in years gone by, we've had numbers like 9 or 7. Why we've suddenly got to restrict it all, I have no idea. It just doesn't make sense. If people want to be involved, let them be involved, let them have their vote on it. That's I mean, if you want me to go down numbers, Chairman, I'll gladly do it, but I'm sure that these boys over here have got the.
I'm quite happy to put my suggestions for the councillors. The environmental services, the communities, and the strategy and finance for 9 members.
Yeah.
So could I take that as a vote? Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Anyone against? Anyone abstaining? Anyone wishing not to vote?
And then with the planning committee, 7 and 2 ex officios.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Do we need to vote on that yet? I'm doing just agree.
That's fine. So, yeah.
And the staffing committee of 7 members, 5 members for the staffing committee.
Agreed.
Agree?
Plus 2 ex officio.
Yes,
Yes. With
So
voting,
that was
all with voting
all-
rights.
yes, the 2 ex officios and all of those I said. Yes, I do. Sorry,
Why are we increasing the staffing committee 5 plus 2? What's the logic behind it?
I think that we were just mentioning.
That's what we want.
Sorry.
I'm putting the chair out of it.
I think what we were
I know
just
you are.
explaining is the
Yeah.
amount of people.
Do you want the chair to answer or?
Yes, please. Without instruction.
So what we're saying is that with people that are not turning up to meetings, we want to extend that. And I think from what we've heard, that it's necessary that we end up not, that we are always poor. So that's the reasoning why. With the staffing, I think it's very important as well. I think that's as important as a lot of the other. More so because our employees, there are staff, and I think it's important that we have the members there to make sure that everything is running well for them as well as for the council. Thank you. Are we voting?
Yeah. So we want to do the continuation.
So would you like now to do the committee members?
Yeah.
Was it just elected on? They have no budget. Sorry, I didn't like you first. Okay. So if we can start with the Environmental Services Committee. I have down Councillor Stanley, Gallup, Councillors Callis. I don't touch it. Councillor Ward. Councillor Ward.
Vernon,
And sparing.
So through the chair, so on environmental services, we've got councillor Sparing, councillor Stanley, councillor Vernon, councillor Gallop, councillor Callis, councillor Ward. Any other members wishing to put their names forward for that listing?
Green spaces.
Yeah,
When was this decided? Because that doesn't coincide with anything we've got here.
but we didn't all get this either, did we?
So you can't vote in it. I think we haven't seen it.
Yeah, we've got our names forward. We've got our names forward. We're putting
We're
our
putting
names.
our names forward. Put your names forward.
Yeah.
So, do
You
you,
wouldn't put your
do you
names,
wish,
forward, put your name forward.
No,
Wilson, you are already on the list that came from the office. As
yeah, but my
suggested.
query was the other names that are different from this list. So my question was, when was it chose?
We're doing it now. These are the people vindicated to me.
Right, okay.
It's not right.
Yeah.
So you did want to remain, it's just, that's gonna be,
Yeah, leave it then.
thank you.
Thank you.
any other members?
I've got 7 members of environmental services plus the 2 ex officio. You've only got 2 spaces for it. Like, I only have 7 names.
We've got nine, for environmental, we said 9 members.
Yeah, but I think you've read me 7 names. So I've written the names.
Yeah.
7, yeah. So then-
2 spaces, so they can-
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that-
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I just clarified.
Yeah.
So we had. Sorry, that's right.
Yeah, I was just going to point out, we are missing quite a number of members tonight. So
That's it.
that's up to them, but obviously, you know,
So I was going to say, for councillor Leary, that we had on here, councillor Page and councillor Lamborn that aren't present, but they came from the clerk's list.
Can I throw you, Chair? So through the chair to the clerk, if anyone wishes to add their names on when there's vacancies, they can do that at a later date anyway, can't they?
Yeah, full council can vote at any point, take people on.
Yes, but then those members that are not here, if they wish to put their names forward on any committee, they can do that after. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Stanley, yes.
Chair, thank you very much. I personally would welcome any member of the council to join any committee, no matter what, because I do feel that they should be involved as well as those people that are here tonight. So, yes, I welcome them coming on.
So
Should we take a vote?
should we take a vote on that?
yeah, thumbs up, yeah.
Like to raise matter up for, please.
Through the chair, if I can, then just for clarification. So we're voting for these members that have just had their names read out to be on the environmental services committee. So all those members in favour, could you please raise your hand?
Thank you. Communities. I've got councillor Newport, Al Newport, Lisa Newport, councillor Rowe, councillor Ward, councillor Brooke Newport, councillor Sutton, councillor Balding, and councillor Lindsay now. On the original list, I've got councillor Bill Wilson. Did you wish to be on there? Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you.
And councillor Linden was on there. I mean, we can't, we put in, sorry. Can we put councillor Linden in there or can we add in?
We can, so councillor Linden did confirm to me, so when he sent his policies, he would be willing to continue on communities.
But nothing just is on this, isn't it? What was that one?
That's forward, that's done 9 plus the 2 exhibitions.
So, if you'd like to read that one out.
Again, so through the chair, for the communities committee, if members are happy to take it on block, we have councillor L Newport, councillor Rowe, councillor Ward, councillor B Newport, councillor Sutton, councillor Balding, councillor Lindsay Now, councillor V Wilson and councillor R Linden. Do you wish to speak?
Yes, we're one short, by the way.
I was going to mention as well, but then
Because
was,
your ex officio, as the PC, so there is one space left.
and the originally on the original list was councillor Nigel Loud. So he did still want to know because.
Yeah, I'm happy.
If you're happy with that.
So are we,
Let's take a vote, that please, if those members have been read out. Accept that. All four. Okay, so should we take that again? Sorry, whoops, complicated. Could we do that again, please? Four. Well, there's no suggestion there. So, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So on to the planning, which we're doing 7 members. I've got councillor Sperry, councillor Vernon, councillor Gallop. I do know that councillor Lindsay doesn't want to be on it, but the clerk do put her on, but she has requested me to do that. We have on the other list still councillor Milne, who's not here, so he may wish to be there. But anybody else that would want to be on the planning committee, please, because we are quite sure, but I think this was a lot of members are missing, and we could feel that. Okay, should we just vote on those members that are here then? So please you raise hands, please, for those. Could you repeat the rest?
So for planning, the planning committee, we've got confirmed councillors of councillor Sparing, councillor Vernon and councillor Gallop. All those in favour?
Thank you. With the staffing, are we staffing, please?
So
Sorry, councillor.
if I may, just to give some clarity on why there's perhaps not so many people volunteering for the planning. On advice from the monitoring officer at Watford District Council, it was advised that district councillors who also sit in town council do not sit on both councils. Given the way that the political ramifications came about after the election, there are now a number of small groups, which mean that a lot of us are probably going to be, even if we're not members of the development committee, will end up sitting on the development committee in a substitute capacity. So it makes it very difficult for those of us who are district members to sit on that committee, and that's why most of us haven't put ourselves forward.
That's really, yes, I didn't know. So from our staffing committee, please, we want 5 members. We have Sir Balding, myself, as chair, as an official, councillor Byrne, councillor James Newport, councillor Lumley, and councillor Sutton. That's fine.
Councillor, yes, I certainly do, Chair. I would like to also join the staffing committee, as I've been a member of this for the last 2 years, and it's really interesting in the work of our committee. I'd like to be on that, please.
Sorry. Shall we start believe? But this case is a small member. We need to take each member's to the vote individually.
So we. So through the chair, we have to take each member that's proposed themselves for the committee. Each member has to be voted on, and each member, if they've got the fewest votes, they drop off.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my understanding.
That's what you speak.
Yeah, we don't need to vote on you, Chair, as you are ex officio. Thank you.
So. So councillor Balding, who's in favour, please?
Sorry, we need to get proposal second.
I'll second.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Again, and the votes in favour, sorry.
All those in favour?
Absolutely. Councillor Vernon.
Opposed?
Thank you. Those in favour?
Yep.
Yeah. Proposing for councillor James Newport,
Opposed, councillor James Newport.
second,
I'll second it.
thank you, Brooke. Brooke Newport. And we'd like to vote for councillor James Newport, there's. Thank you.
I'll propose councillor Lumley.
I'll second it.
We would like to vote for councillor Lumley, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. And those for councillor Sutton.
I'll propose that.
And I'll second.
Yeah, 2 seconds, and that's a standard deduction from this. Thank you.
Yep.
And we'd like to vote then, please, in favour of councillor Sutton.
Yep. And then to the council.
And then councillor Bill Wilson, we would like to propose councillor Wilson. I'll propose. Thank you. We would like, thank you, councillor Wilson, second.
Yep.
I'd like to take a vote for councillor Wilson, please. Bill Wilson.
Councillor Morgan, Councillor Vernon, Councillor James Newport, Councillor Lumley, Councillor Sutton.
Thank you very much. So that was.
There you go. So it's Councillor Baldwin, Councillor Vernon, Councillor James Newport, Councillor Lumley, Councillor Sutton, who were elected to the person committee. Let's start this one.
Starting. Yeah, so that brings us to the strategy and finance, which we've had amended and entered today, which we've got down to 9 members. And I have.
Chair.
Chair, can you just refresh me, where do we stand on numbers here? Because councillor Ward suggested that the chairman of each committee should go on to the strategy. So that's going to take out a certain number of the 9, I think we've indicated that we want.
Just going to say that we're going to vote in the chairs on their first meeting, why not? Thank you. Absolutely, what's the margin?
So through the chair, strategy and finance committee, we've suggested 9 members. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members that have indicated that they wish to go on there so far, which leaves 4 spaces, and there's only 4 committee chairs that may not be on there at this stage.
No, just
So
make a point.
unless you just wanted to vote for the 5 members that are already on strategy and finance, and if any of those members are not chairs on the other committees, they can then come from the other committees. We could do it that way.
Well, otherwise they'll become a member.
Yeah, otherwise if there is that chair or a representative of the vice chair would.
Yeah.
Sorry, through you, Chair, is that an acceptable way to do that?
Yeah, that you can do that. Yeah. Obviously, as long as we make sure that's in the terms of reference once it's drafted by committee.
Our members happy with that, through you, Chair, our members happy with that. So,
Yeah.
Do you want me to move them out here on minutes? Yes, please.
so we've got people, members that have indicated to go on the strategy and finance committee are councillor Jay Newport, councillor Lumley, councillor O'Leary, councillor Rowe and councillor Ward. Would members be happy to take those councillors on block?
Right.
Yeah.
Was there anybody else that was listed that wanted to be on that? Right. Sorry, did you get me at the end? Thank you. Yes, you can take on block, please.
So all those members in favour of those members on that committee?
Thank you, members.
Anyone, do we need to do the against?
Are you just not voting?
Not voting.
That's fine.
And against the schedule of meetings. The agreement schedule of meetings. Up to and including the next annual meeting of council.
Yeah, we need to be things off there, yeah.
My proposal is going to be. Happy with this, that we bring that to our next full council meeting, which is on June the 1st. Anybody in favour?
Yeah, the agenda's already gone out that now, so.
Have we not started? So then the next one after that, we're not really.
Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, that's one it's all right. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Hello.
Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, my understanding is that just because the agenda's been set today, doesn't mean it can't be amended today. The 3 PM deadline that was set by the clerk is arbitrary. There is a 5 working day rule, and even if I sent an email at 11:59 tonight, that can still be included in the agenda tonight. So the decisions of this council tonight can be brought forward on the 1st of June.
That's the date.
There's not 5 clear days between now and Monday.
Saturday is normally counted in this council. So yeah, so we normally get the agenda on Wednesday.
They've
Only
done-
moved it to 9.
they've done.
So if we vote to say it's tonight,
in the meeting.
So if that's the case, then why didn't,
Wednesday, Thursday.
hold on, why did the clerk set 3 PM today as the deadline for agenda items? If today doesn't count as one of the days?
It wasn't today, it was Friday.
No, you said Tuesday, 3 PM.
I didn't, I said it Friday.
Okay, well, let's have a look.
Yeah, we've still got 3 clear days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've still got-
exactly.
Yeah, but for motion requests, it's 5 clear
Okay, but
days.
we're-
Motions
Yeah.
are different,
Yeah,
yeah.
that,
This is-
motion.
We're saying that we're bringing an item forward from this council that we voted on tonight to that agenda on Monday night. Are you saying that we as a council cannot bring that forward tonight?
Yeah, agenda.
So if I may, sorry, through the chair, so, through the chair to the clerk, can we have an extraordinary council meeting, which sounds rather bizarre, on rise of the extraordinary council meeting on the 1st of June with one agenda item, and as members will all be here. So
We could do.
Yes.
So I would propose we do that then, if anyone's going to second.
Yeah, I'll second it.
That's the way we've got to do it.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Scheduled meetings, well, I think we've already heard from a colleague over here. I'm guessing that we all think once a quarter isn't enough. So why can't we tonight say, okay, we want the meetings every month, every bi-month, 6 weeks or whatever. Then we haven't got to go through this fiasco. Surely we can decide tonight that we want to say the meetings will be every 6 weeks unless we, at full council, subsequently down the road, decide that they can be extended or reduced.
So if I may, in response to what councillor Staring said, whilst we appreciate about the frequency of meetings, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Clark, it's not just about the frequency of meetings setting the schedule, it's about the dates of the meetings as well, which we don't know what dates we've got. So if we can have proposals from the office for the schedule of meetings sent out to members before the extraordinary council meeting on the 1st, and anything that members need to send into the office before that meeting so that everybody can have it circulated, then we might all be able to think the same day.
Can I just come back on that? Can we work on the schedule then on a 6 weekly basis and not a quarterly basis?
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah. That's reading.
Councillor Stanley, and Councillor Stanley, please.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know how to put this, but what is on the agenda on June for the full council? Can that be postponed until the committees have been formed and taken decisions on what they need to do that is relevant to what is on the agenda, please?
That's all finished.
Yeah. And also,
Sorry, can't hear a word you're saying.
It's already, the agenda's already been issued, the agenda's been put up, that meeting's going ahead, that meeting won't be cancelled.
Yeah.
We're gonna potentially have another meeting following that meeting for this one agenda item because it can't go on that agenda, if that makes sense.
On the same number.
Right.
Bring this in.
Yeah. Bring your sounds as well. So that's-
That's right, you introduced this one.
No.
So do we need to go to the vote now, please?
yes,
So, all members, yeah,
yeah.
and, yeah, so all members in favour of having an extraordinary council meeting on rise of the extraordinary council meeting on the 1st of June, please, those in favour, show of hands. Those against?
I'd like to make a suggestion, please, that maybe in conjunction with the chair and vice chair, with the mention of some of the scheduled meetings with yourself.
Yeah.
Because we've got some issues, things that are happening, so that would be my suggestion. That's a standard.
Thank you, Chair. Would a proposal be put forward before that on the agenda of the 1st of June so that we could discuss items on in the extraordinary meeting?
Sorry, which one, councillor Stanley?
Sorry,
Sorry, what are you asking? Which one are you asking?
There's one item, Chris, I think.
the item that I'm questioning on the agenda of the 1st of June is the one of dismantling the shed on Swain Park. I do believe that should go through committee stage and not full council.
It's already out there, it's already on
Talk
there.
about
I know it's already on there, that's what I'm saying. Can that be held to the
No.
extraordinary
Can make
committee
that
meeting?
decision on the night if they fix it.
Is that,
We'll do it on.
it will be done, yeah,
We'll do
okay.
it on the-
But obviously, the committee there's no committees don't have their terms of reference agreed, so all the time, they have no powers, that's why those decisions come into full council, because they can't take those decisions themselves. Until terms of reference are agreed, that's why those decisions are on full council.
So forgive me for asking then, once that has been agreed,
Yeah,
will that be before the, what is on the agenda or after what is on the agenda? Because I honestly, you've got to agree it before the agenda,
Talk about reference being agreed.
Sorry.
otherwise we can't,
It's not making.
May I just,
I'm getting confused.
I think you confused us all.
Sorry, I was wondering if you don't want the allotments to be discussed by full council to go to committee, you could just defer it on the night.
yeah, that's what, yeah, if they can
Yeah.
make that decision, but obviously, until.
Exactly.
You've got to go with
Yes.
this.
Exactly.
It's not make a decision, but you could defer, except
Yeah.
the order said you could
Defer
defer
that.
on the night,
On the night.
go to the committee and then
Yeah.
bring it back to full council if you need to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
You'll be waiting on scheduled meetings, won't you? Yeah, so you want, standard.
May I take,
Remove the bloody things.
may I take 4.5 and 4.6 together and votes? And 4.7, so take those on block, 4.5, 6 and 7. And propose that they go to the first meeting of the strategy and finance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Councillor Nuns.
Thank you. Can we vote on that, please, Rob? Thank you. You so, you've got the item 5, the insurance renewal. You consider the quotes received for renewal of the council's insurance cover. Now, I noticed it says pure quotes.
Yep.
But there is only one quote.
That's
Is
right.
that correct?
Yes, so the other providers for the sector declined because of the claim history for the council. They're not willing to quote for this year.
I
That's quite common in the sector.
So through the chair to the clerk. Are there only 3 insurance companies that insure councils?
Nuclear council,
Yes.
LAS, Zurich,
So we went to, yes.
Try.
Gallagher.
Yeah, so Gallagher and
Yeah,
Chain Company.
so Gallagher,
And BHN? Well, they could be BHN.
yeah, so Gallagher and the accountant client.
Yes.
I've just got
Yeah.
Councils and
MES, fine, because we've got claim history on jury.
Yeah, there's only about 4 or 5 that actually, I think our problem here is we are on the time constraint for this. If I'm correct, Clark, it's renewable for June, 1st of June. Sorry. Or James, please.
Thanks. So can I just be clear about what we're agreeing? We're agreeing a 1-year term rather than a 3-year term, is that?
And that's up to council to decide whether you go with the 1 or 3 year. That's why you've got both options.
So one of the issues with the insurance policy last year was that we didn't have an up-to-date assets register. Is that all been fixed now?
Yeah, that's all in the process of being fixed.
So this quote that we've got for this insurance for this year, if it's in the process, is it
So yeah,
correcting of?
it'll be corrected by the 1st of June. So
Sorry, I just follow on from that statement, because I did send this, I think, that is the John Fisher car park not actually an asset, this is not mentioned now. And I do look and they do say that council and
it's
assets
covered by, I think it's just,
and we have defibrillators, but we haven't mentioned the bleed gas. We have got the London Road glass telephone box.
So Laura, I think that's
That's a line of two. So you are several items there.
the telephone box I know we were adding on, so that will be on there before, and then I think John Fisher. I think it was covered by something else. It was under. I will clarify that. But I think it potentially might come to just that anyway, but I'll double check with them. And they don't list it separately.
For this one, members finding, it says the pavilion, St John Fisher playing field, Little Weekly, but the pavilion is not the fun park. So that
Yes.
needs to be clarified.
But I think that value, because that doesn't reflect when the pavilion works have taken place, so it needs to be revalued anyway. So I think it does,
Okay,
it's
it's got to be
incorporated like that, but I will
amended.
make sure they do that, yeah.
Okay. Councillor James Weaver, please.
Yeah, can I just check that on this policy that all the KGB assets are included as well?
Yes, so they are included in our policy, and then it's the amount that is chargeable in terms of KGB will be recharged back to the trust.
How will that be worked out?
Based, obviously, we can get that breakdown from direct themselves, a bit like we get the breakdown for the pavilion that we can recharge back to the football club.
Okay. I would propose that we just take a 1-year term for this.
I really want to Councillor Byrne, and we'll come back to that, please.
Also, did we find that it had a scout hut? Is that scout hut an asset?
It's obviously it's leased from us.
So is that our asset? Is that on
Yes.
this?
Yeah, so as I say, that's incorporating part of the updates, the asset register they'll incorporate, that's all on there.
Okay,
So-
good.
Councillor Slendon, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just a little query, the insurance of John Fisher, as some of that is, if you like, controlled by the football club, does that include that area as well, or do they have their own insurance for that area that they occupy? Can't even word you're saying.
So it's on our policy, but we recharge that amount back to them, so they got essentially paying for it, even though it's on our policy.
And that includes the pavilion as well.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, which is why we have to get it revalued, because obviously where they've done the refurbishment work to it.
Get that back.
Thank you, Chairman. I understand councillor Newport's proposal, but if we're going to have this problem every year with the number of insurance companies, that is very limited, and we could find next year we have a choice of 2 instead of 3, or 1 or whatever. Are we better to secure something for 3 years than we know we're covered, and we're not going to be punting around guessing that somebody might come in? We've put it out this year and we got 1. Would we be better? I'll just throw that out and to.
So on what councillor Staring said, would this, I believe, would normally and doesn't even come to the first annual council meeting, doesn't it? So if we took a 1-year term, could we look at this much earlier next year than we are this year?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I think I appreciate what councillor Staring said, but some members feel like we're very often lately, not, you know, through our own circumstances as a council, that we get a bit shoehorned down certain avenues to spend money with certain companies because it's been left quite late.
Yeah, I mean, obviously what I would highlight is, so they asked, all the providers asked for 6 years worth of claim history, obviously, so that some of those claims even a year down the line will still be there, and that might still put them off wanting to quote. So we may still be in the same situation next year where they've only 1 provider.
But we're not fully up to date assets register, we won't be.
We will, but it's not really the asset register that's put them off, it's the claim history.
Yeah, through you, Chair. I'd be quite interested to know, did we approach these companies individually or did we go via a specialist broker?
So it was, I did go originally by a broker and then I approached directly to try and get some.
May I suggest that there are a number of specialist brokers out there. I was only speaking to one the other day who specialise in providing parish and district council to insurance. And maybe we could reach out to those in the Lloyd's market, for example, that I know people operating for future reference.
Yeah, I think for future reference, I think here is where we are,
Yeah,
because of the time, I've got councillor Ward.
No, it's just, an interest in the costing. Would we get a better rate if we went for 3 years? I'm just asking that.
Yeah.
Would it be a better rate?
Yeah. It's not,
It's
the pack is slightly less, but not by a huge amount. Yeah, it's not a considerable amount.
For some reason, the increase, surely.
Yeah.
I may check, we can only now £800 a year. Year 1 is £8,808.37, and the 3 year is £8,008.37.
That's the move.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one thing that I was interested about on this was partly in the legal expenses and whether that would cover anything. I mean, we've got an issue with KGB. Is that something we can access through KG, through the trust, that legal services? Because
I have to double check that one, to be honest, as to whether they would cover it.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
And we've got other ones that are, so on insured incidents, we've got contract disputes, inoperative. Now, we're not in a KGB meeting, but I'm not specifically saying that, but we do have contracts and we do need to manage them, but it says it's inoperative. Does that mean we don't have cover for that, for contract disputes? So that might have been something that we did really need to consider, in my view. So I was thinking, I know what Councillor Sparring said, and I do agree in part, but I do think we need to seriously look at this next year. So I think that I'll stick with the 1 year proposal.
So through the chair to the clerk, can we do a very, very short interim, because I know we need to agree this before the 1st of June, for you to have time to clarify the questions and issues that have been raised. Would they extend the current policy by 3 months?
I don't know, I've never tried it, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know if that might, because there's quite a few things that.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, I don't know.
I'd start on this today, but have an either or. If you get that, then you can
But we don't have anything else to go with.
Like I was saying, you've got, so you, you know, and you've got to have a decision on your 1 year or 3 year, either or, but on the caveat that you can't get an extension. I don't know, so I've never tried.
Never tried it.
So do you want me to propose a motion? So I'll propose a motion then that if we can ask for a short extension on the current policy whilst issues that have been raised today are clarified. We'll go for that. If they categorically say no extension, if members are happy, we'll go for the 1 year policy until we can get things sorted and look into it further. Yeah. If I have a seconder.
No, I'm not seconding, sorry. Okay. Can I suggest that we have a vote, as to whether we want 1 year or 3 years, please?
1 year.
I'd like to second that, please.
No,
No, she wants a vote. I'm seconding it.
Sorry, just before we vote on anything, can we just check, is there anything else in the policy that you want me to either clarify or that is listed as inoperative that you would want us to be covered on? For me to go
I
back to them
thought
about?
you picked that up on the contract, didn't we? But is there
Is
anything
there
else?
anything else just before, so we know what we're going back to them with?
Can I,
Operative.
yeah, and the legal.
Yes, yeah, legal and the inoperative about contract.
yeah, thank you. If possible, I mean, could you just, there's only two things, so the debt recovery and contract disputes, could you just ask them for the price on those?
Yeah.
Add in those to our policy and have them separate. So, you know, I would be looking at contract disputes as I've just raised,
Yeah.
but we might want debt recovery, I don't know, but how much it might only cost us buttons to have that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it might be worth having it. Thank you. And I'll propose the 1 year.
We've got a proposal for 1 year.
I'll say, is that the ask for the extension, and if no extension,
That's what
we're
it's up.
going for the 1 year.
Yeah.
We could be prepared to say.
Yes, get that, yeah.
So can we take a vote on that then?
Just want to guarantee the extension. We're asking, most companies will give an extension if you give the correct reasons as to why you want that extension, and you're reasonable. They're very reasonable, and that's usually a good point. So being reasonable about this, saying we need the extension to further clarify various things, and I cannot see a reason why they would not give an extension. In that case, I'll be happy to vote for a year.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so can we go to the vote on that? So all those members in favour, sorry, the chair. In favour of that? Against? I'm against. 44 on my So that motion is carried. Sorry, Chair, I'll take this.
Seems reasonable, doesn't it? Seems reasonable. Yeah, I agree. But it's actually looking at.
That's fine, that's fine. But I still would have gone. Thank you, members. So I'd like to close the meeting. Yeah, that means you can go home. Thank you very much. And it's at 8:40.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.